We are back from Exmouth Total Eclipse 2023. It all went very well. Exmouth lived up to its weather reputation, and we had beautiful clear skies, a little windy. Um, yeah, very happy with how everything came out. Um, Took some videos and photographs, etc., etc. Missed out, like, not completely happy with the result, but it's 2020 hindsight. This is that was my first total eclipse, and I didn't really know what to expect, so expectations were set slightly incorrectly. But I do have to say, for anybody who hasn't experienced a total solar eclipse before, that it's amazing. No video, no photograph does justice to the actual experience of totality. And there was a bit of a saying going around the ship with the eclipse chasers on there, that if you have seen a partial eclipse, then you basically haven't seen an eclipse. And I appreciate now how accurate that is. It's amazing that with like 99.5% of the sun covered, it's still fairly bright, and the actual visual effect of the total eclipse you just do not get at that level of coverage. Yeah, a few sort of props I have to give here is thanks to Kelly Beattie from the Sky and Telescope group that was on the ship, for giving some guidance about how to do, how to get the best images, things like that. They held a series of seminars on the ship. Thanks to P&O for taking Kelly's advice, for liaising with Kelly on where to actually position the ship. We got brilliant views. And thanks to P&O for also running the astrophotography and eclipse related presentations. They were really really informal. They were really informative, and provided a lot of good information. Good people to meet, the presenters. I'll give a little bit of a summary of that in the video that's to follow. What next? I'll put in the notes on the video down there, so I'll put links to relevant sites, and I'll also put notes in there about the eclipse itself and things that I forget to mention in the video. Did a bit of a review last night, and a lot of the footage I took of the setup footage I took is not usable due to wind noise and things like that. So I've just cobbled together what I can. The experience was quite good. It was a dedicated eclipse cruise, and there were a few hundred people on there. They had a Sky and Telescope group of about 120 people, and lots of other people with just cameras, telescopes, dedicated solar telescopes. It was really good to sort of hang out and geek out a bit with all these like-minded people, plus just a lot of other people with kids and things like that. We took along, we had some other people with us, in-laws and their kids. We bought the eclipse glasses prior to the cruise, but P&O handed out quite good eclipse viewers, probably better than the glasses. They were like a card on a lanyard, and while I was videoing, it was very handy again, the Sky and Telescope group seems to have provided advice on that, those over the glasses, and it worked out fine. What else? Well, just summary of my experience is that I'm semi-hooked. I'm not going to become an eclipse chaser because I can't afford it, but there's another total eclipse with a much longer totality scheduled for 2028, and that's in Western Australia, Northern Territory. That one, the totality passes right over Sydney, so there'll be a lot of people out for that. We're planning to go into the north of Western Australia to see that. That will be about 3,000 kilometres away from home sweet home here, so we'll make a bit more of a trip out of it. Potentially drive. The ship was good, but there were some issues with the ship swinging on the anchor that caused problems with the photography. What else? Just another slightly technical thing is if you have a look at the track on some of the various maps on the internet, you'll see that the track for this eclipse was very, very narrow, which led to the very short totality time. But one of the consequences of that, two of the consequences of that is you had a really spectacular transition from light into totality. It only took about 3 or 4 seconds. You should see that on the video I shot. So very dramatic shutdown of the light and effectively turning back of the lights. It didn't fade gradually back. It just almost exploded back into what appeared to be full brightness. And the other thing is the diameter of the moon, the apparent diameter of the moon matched the apparent diameter of the sun very well. So you could see at totality a lot of prominences as well as the corona. I did set out initially to try and photograph the outer corona, and I thought I'd done my research, but experience always trumps that, and got the inner corona I think sort of okay, and some prominences. The sun's actually quite active at the moment. Much to my delight, I actually got one of those classic prominences that erupt out of the surface of the sun, arches over and collapses back in again. Biggest technical difficulty that I had is when I got good focus. When I removed the filter at totality, the focus changed just a slight amount. So what I got was a small bit out of focus, and I think that's because I had my f-stop set down at about f2.4 in order to get the outer corona, and you need, I think, to get the outer corona you need way more skill than I have. But I'll sort of like roll the footage now. Enough of this preamble stuff, and I've done a bit of a mixed presentation of the footage I collected to give you a bit of an overview of the whole experience, mainly because I think there will be footage on YouTube which is technically way better than mine of the detail of the eclipse. One thing I do have to add, again just through inexperience, is that the remarkable effect of the bullet hole in the sky, if you like, the pure silvery light of the corona with the intense blackness of the moon centered in it. The wide shot that I got didn't capture that because it was attempting, the camera was like on auto exposure, and it was attempting to compensate. It just totality shows us like a very bright small sun-looking object, but it to the unaided eye, it didn't look like that at all. And the other thing I always imagined is that sort of bullet hole in the sky effect would be very small and sort of distant looking, and it wasn't. It was large, and it was in your face, and it was just totally unreal. And I think the strangeness of that is what causes the emotional reaction people have to the video, to the effect. Yeah, and also subsequent to my last video, it seems there were about 20,000 people in Exmouth, which might not sound a lot, but for a town where the permanent residents is about 3,000, 2.5 to 3,000 people, that's a lot. It all looked very organised. There did not seem to be problems with the road. My worry that the Linden River would flood up over the road did not come to pass. Everybody seems to have been well behaved, and I think everybody had a pretty good time. Anyway, enough of me rambling on. Let's cut to the main event. We boarded the P&O Pacific Explorer on the Monday evening before the eclipse. The plan was to proceed at a leisurely pace north up the coast to Exmouth, taking 2 and a bit days to cover the 1,500 kilometres. It was hell, I tell you. Instead of hours on long, straight roads, roadhouse food and choruses of "Are we there yet?", we endured restaurant and buffet dinners, a cosy cabin, and worst of all, cocktails. Oh, the cocktails. As we got further north, the weather got warmer, and we had to decide between ice cream or milkshakes, or cocktails, in breaks between checking equipment and planning our shots. At the start of the cruise, I didn't realise that there was no clear plan for where the ship would park during the eclipse. It turns out that Kelly Beattie, who is leading the Sky and Telescope contingent, was working with the ship's captain and navigator to work out a final position based on the final weather report. Being on a ship gave us more flexibility than land-based viewers, as most of the eclipse track was over the sea, just kissing Northwest Cape between Learmonth and Exmouth. Kudos to P&O for seeking such qualified advice. In the end, we parked in the sheltered waters of Exmouth Gulf, just to the south of the town. There were the normal cruise events plus eclipse, astronomy and astrophotography related presentations to keep the astro contingent amused, entertained and informed. We had the likes of Matt Dodds, Kelly Beattie, Dr. Rebecca Allen, Lachlan Wilson, Jonty Horner, Crystal Napoli, Professor Tara Murphy, Professor Tim Bedding, and apologies to anyone I missed. Sky and Telescope put on a couple of sky viewings on the rear deck, persuading the captain to douse the lights at that part of the ship, revealing the pristine Bortle 1 skies. I was surprised at the interest. Standing space was at a premium. Being first-timers, we studied the setting suggestions provided. It turned out to be sort of a waste of time because we didn't have the experience to use the information properly. Bit of a walk around. I tried to make a video of the walk around I did of surveying the deck to see where we could set up, but the wind noise just made it impractical, so I cut the video. I even found a rival for a certain other channel's Pink Bunny. It's sunrise, it's about 6:30 in the morning. Only, 5 hours to go, and we've been up for an hour already. There's people starting to get their gear set up. On the back here, on the centre section of the ship, there's more and more people getting equipment out. Right down there with a reflector with his solar filter on it. In for a warm day, I think. Last time I looked, the temperature prediction was 33. think this is the Sky and Telescope group down here. They have a fair preponderance of serious equipment. It's really quite ironic, knowing Exmouth, this wind should start to drop as the sea breeze counters it, just basically as we leave to sail back to Fremantle at 2 o'clock this afternoon. That's the setup there that's the setup there that I'm using. My 3D printed filter doesn't fit very well. It's the same size since I built it, so I put this one on, which is just foam, and yeah, it's staying on quite well in the wind, which, as you can see from the sea, it's quite distinct. I think about 20 kilometres an hour. I suspect the audio on these clips might be somewhat muted due to the wind, but yeah, it's great everybody's settled in now. As I mentioned before, not as many telescopes and everything set up as I thought there would be. There's one other ship cruising back and forth, which is way over there. I thought there would be several cruise ships here, but I'm wrong. Sun is clearing the superstructure very nicely. Clouds are so far limiting themselves to haunting the southern end of the Gulf, which is welcome. And we're about half an hour from first contact, and I'm starting to seriously panic. Just for technical details, I'm using a basic alt-azimuth tripod, telescope mount, whatever. It has slow motion controls on it, which help me track the sun as it sort of dances across the screen as the ship swings back and forth on the anchor chain like a pendulum. It's going to be challenging, but we'll do it. Now in movie mode, should be still going to have to manually compensate for the drift, but fairly well centered in the frame. In a moment, I'm going to take the filter off and run manual settings. I'm at ISO 100 at 1/12/50th of a second at the moment, and this is with the filter on. I don't think we'll see the shadow bands because we have bursts of the Darren. Oops, just had me tripod bumped. Just had the hot air from the ship's stack passes over us occasionally. It's starting now to get noticeably darker. It's amazing that you can cover most of the sun and it doesn't noticeably start to get dark. It's basically just got noticeably dark in the last minute or so.
2 minutes until totality. Thank you, Kelly.
Okay, just going to wait basically 1 more minute. Pull the filter off.
This is where you knock the camera off.
Okay, this is likely to go a bit berserk because I'm setting up for the corona. Ship's swinging back the other way. Yeah, the movement of the sun.
My sun is just a semicircle of pixels there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the swinging. Okay.
There we go.
Starting to get interesting now.
Okay, going to risk my sensor. Oh, I've got prominences. Yeah, you can see solar prominences as clearly as anything. I'm going to sound like an idiot because I'm recording this. And you can see the corona. I'm at 1/12,800th of a second. Sorry about all the image drifting around. That's a special effect out of a science fiction film. It's not real.
Oh my God, the prominence.
You can't appreciate it through the camera. It is totally fake looking. It's the silvery white. I'm not going to adjust, we've got a minute to like bask in this.
Beautiful.
My heart is beating so fast.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 streamers.
I promised I wasn't going to do this, but I want to try and get the prominences. Yep, starting, that's totality over. It's coming back, it's getting noticeably brighter again.
Now to put your filters back on. Watch for the shadow of the moon racing away to the northeast.
I think I did a good diamond run there.
That's as far as I go again. I'm at 1/12,800th of a second, and I'll have to put the filter back on. That 1 minute just went in a flash. But it's unbelievable. If you ever see videos, even good videos, of a total solar eclipse, it is nothing like the real thing. It's nothing like it. The silver quality of the light. Oops, filter time. The quality of the light is...
We'll take the moon another hour and a half until just a few minutes after 1 p.m. to completely leave the sun's disk. Congratulations to everyone, and especially to Captain Nixon and his crew for getting us in the right place at the right time.
Okay, filter back on. I said that wasn't real.
That wasn't a minute, I told you.
No, but when you actually looked at it with your naked eye, it wasn't real. That was a special effect.
That was just
from the thing you don't.
had everything to do with it, right?
The thing you don't capture is like the solid edge of the moon, but the light is like this silvery bright purity. Yeah, and a camera is like, I'm trying.